everybody, welcome back. American Truck Simulator vlog. Texas Tom here, getting ready for to recap week 3. Exciting week. We had our own truck. We were dictating what loads we were going to take. It was an interesting week with a lot of hard truths, I guess, being our own boss and having to make a lot of tough choices. So we're going to show you now how week 3 played out. So week 1 and week 2, we were a company driver working for Pioneer Natural Resources. Now, week 3, we are a contract driver for Pioneer Natural Resources. We have our own truck, so now we have to maneuver some of the mechanics of the game now that we are in our own truck and not using the company trucks. So the contract is we need 10 deliveries. We need to be at Pioneer 10 times throughout the week, whether that's picking up or dropping off or picking up and dropping off. That's hopefully what we want. That's what we were trying to get, but it doesn't always work out that way. Again, we're based out of Fort Stockton, Texas. That's where our garage is. So that's where we're working out of. And we started the week with $462,000. We were able to accumulate a lot of capital in week 1 and 2 being a company driver. We're going to see some of the trends we were seeing are going to change now that we are in charge. So, for week 3, what we decided to do is we decided to use our truck, our Peterbilt, which we are calling Black Betty. We decided to use Black Betty, but we used the company trailers. So we used our trucks going to the sites and then just picked up the trailers and the loads. The reason we did that is I'm still trying to find if we can get any lanes that we can use the trailers that we have. So we do have 2 trailers available to us. We have the fuel tanker trailer and we have the container carrier trailer, but we did not use those in week 3. We're still trying to fill this out. Getting 10 deliveries is a lot tougher than I thought it was going to be. So that's why we use the company trailers. We will transition into our own trailers, I promise you that, but it is going to be difficult based on what we're seeing here in the first 3 weeks. Now, week 3, we almost drove 5,000 miles. This is a lot more realistic than what we were seeing in the company trucks. We were doing like 10,000 miles, 29 loads in a week. We got the harsh realization that that is not going to be possible now that we have our own truck, now that we have to account for sleep. We can't just drive all day like we did with the company trucks. We have to plan and manage our schedule to get stuff done. So you see we did 4,800 miles and we did 10 loads in 7 days, Monday through Sunday. Our income took a significant hit as well. We only pulled in $212,000 in week 3, which isn't bad, but not near what we were doing. We did a $300,000 week in week 2, so we are seeing a decrease in the income, but we also aren't able to drive all day and all night. So that was to be expected. Again, the most popular load type was the frac tank, but with 10 loads, we had a variety of loads and a variety of different trailer used. So let's go ahead in now. We'll look at the driver's log, and then you can see exactly what loads we were doing, where we were traveling to, how much deadhead we had now that we have our own trucks. and we're going to look at the week and break it down based on the driver's log. Okay, so here you can see the breakdown of the driver's log for the week. A lot less to look at than previous weeks. Again, we did 4,800 miles, 212,000 in income. Our rate per mile, $43 per mile. That went up. So you do make more per mile in your own truck than you do as a company driver, at least what we're seeing now. The highest rates we were seeing as a company driver was like 25,000. You see, we had a couple loads in the 30,000, two in the 30,000s, one almost in the 40,000s there, taking that tub grinder. So we are seeing some rate increases, average rate, not where we were as a company driver, but we did get some decent loads that paid some decent rates. One thing that we have to account for now is you'll see we have some deadhead. So we started off Monday morning at Fort Stockton. We took a frac tank to Odessa. We were able to deliver Pioneer to Pioneer, which was great. We then went, so that deadhead miles is from our garage to Fort Stockton Pioneer. So 64 miles to get to the site. Now, which was nice, we had no deadhead because we went to Odessa Pioneer and then we picked up a frac tank at Odessa Pioneer and went to Wichita Falls, Texas. You see, from Wichita Falls, Texas, we then went to Clovis, New Mexico. I'm not sure why we had that deadhead miles there, because we would have picked up where we delivered. Something must have went down there. So you see, we went to Clovis, New Mexico, then nothing coming out of Clovis to Pioneer. So then I knew that there was a Pioneer in San Antonio. Again, I was trying to find that lane from Fort Stockton to San Antonio in weeks 1 and week 2. So I know from New Mexico, if we could get to San Antonio, we could get to a Pioneer in San Antonio. So we delivered to Nestle, San Antonio, and then traveled 42 miles to the Pioneer site in San Antonio, and then delivered to Laredo. And then we were able to get from Laredo back to Fort Stockton, finally back home on Wednesday. And then we left Fort Stockton Thursday morning, went to Odessa, again, able to pick up in Odessa the generator from Pioneer, go back to Fort Stockton. Then we deadheaded back to Odessa, took some crude oil to Fort Worth, Texas, from Fort Worth to Corpus Christi, and then the last 3 loads here. We had our 10 loads. We visited Pioneer 10 times. So we just did some loads to make some money. So we went from Fort Worth, Texas. We took some Peterbilt trucks to Corpus Christi. Then we went from Corpus Christi. We took a wheel loader to Beaumont, Texas. And then we went from Beaumont, a great paying load. We took a tub grinder from Beaumont back to Fort Texas. We ended up back at Fort Texas on Saturday, and we took Sunday off. Now that we're working for ourselves, we have the opportunities to do that, and we took the day off Sunday. One thing you will notice is you'll see when we look at the accounting statement, we did incur some damage. We had a pretty significant wreck. So on Thursday, I did take a company load out of Odessa and used a company truck to deliver from Odessa to Fort Stockton. Basically, I was simulating, hey, the truck's in the garage and needs to be fixed. So that's why we did do one load this week with a company truck. But then we got back into our truck once it was repaired. And let's head over and look at the balance sheet, and you can see we did have some costly repairs this week for the truck. Okay, so here is our accounting report for week 3. Uh, we added the 212,000 to the previous week's total. Take out our expenses, so almost $90,000 worth of expenses this week. We now have an operating capital of $589,000. So we are going to have some options moving into week 4. As far as we know, we want to expand the company. Getting other drivers in here, getting other trucks to help meet that contract of 10 deliveries. We did have our daily loan payments, so our daily loan payments stayed at 7602. But then you can also see we have to pay for fuel now because it's our own truck. So fuel costs, that'll be coming out for weekly expenses. And then we had to get towed twice. Got carried away on some of the deliveries. We had some tipping. We had some issues with damage to the trucks. So we had to get towed and we had to do some repairs to our truck. We also did some upgrades to the truck again. But that is what we're looking at a accounting breakdown for week 3. Looking forward to week 4, because we do have some capital, we can go ahead and make some upgrades to our company and get some drivers in here, hopefully, to help us out with meeting those contractual obligations. Okay, so here we are at the end of week 3. This is what our skill set looks like. We got the hazardous cargo maxed out. We did some long distance. We did some high value cargo. And then we maxed out the fuel economy. I do not want to get too carried away with long distance cargo because Texas is big enough as it is. I don't want to get stuck traveling to California or traveling north because we then have to get back. And right now, we're only seeing Pioneer stations in Texas. So we want to stay close to those uh, shops, to those destination points, because we need to get there 10 times throughout the week. So I know people have recommended, hey, you'll get better paying jobs if you get that long distance bar up. Eventually, we'll do that, but to get that 10 delivery contract met, uh, I'm not looking to travel that far out of Texas because we need to stay in Texas because we need to be at Pioneer sites. So, week 3, we were able to make some money. We got our first lesson of what it's like being a owner-operator. Week 4, we're going to jump in, hopefully use some of our own trailers. I'm sure that's going to add a different dynamic to the game. And then hopefully expand our fleet, get more drivers in here. Appreciate you guys checking out the channel. If you like what we're doing, please please subscribe. And again, you have any suggestions, drop it in the comments. But we're anxious to see how this goes as far as simulating this owner-operator setup here at American Truck Simulator. And we'll catch you guys next week.